Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip where a fat activist says that fat people are only at a higher risk because doctors have bias against them. She also has a lot of other hot takes, such as there are no health problems that fat people have that thin people don't also have, as well as many other hot takes. How ridiculous will it get? Stay tuned to find out. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. She's going to be responding to this comment that says, needing 5+ men to shift one person, a person who is in constant pain from their crushing mass, is not healthy. What the hell's that supposed to mean? If that ain't the most fat-phobic...
Here's what I need you to do. I need you to go outside, and I need you to find a patch of grass, and I need you to touch that grass.
So, it is healthy to need 5+ men to shift you? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that what he said is nonsense. Okay. Your argument is very well laid out, madam.
So hard. In fact, why don't you just punch the grass?
Okay, so he said needing 5+ men to shift one person, a person who is in constant pain from their crushing mass, is not healthy. Your retort is, go touch grass. Touch grass hard. Touch grass so hard, in fact, that you punch said grass. Get dunked on, son! I didn't think you were gonna get all scientific on us and whatnot. Dang. Check and, mate. Thank you. Oh, you're still here. Okay. I love that you're very unbothered by this. I can tell by the look on your face and how you're, like, pointing at me, I guess, but you're not. You're, like, not pointing, but you're, like, doing the gesture of, like, oh, you kids.
Okay? Okay.
All right, I need you to calm down, bruv. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
So punch the grass real hard and then scream while you're doing it.
That's how you punch, with your thumb out like that? Oh my goodness, you're gonna injure yourself. Tuck the thumb, dude. Make an actual fist. Sorry, I'm not condoning violence by saying how to make a fist.
And maybe that'll bring you back to reality.
Okay, so it is healthy then to need 5+ men to shift a person who is in constant pain from their crushing mass? So you disagree with what he said there. Is this your formal disagreement with the aforementioned statement? Is that what that was? The telling him to touch the grass? I think that's a pretty good argument. Get dunked on, son! I like how you didn't even respond to what he said at all. You're just like, go touch grass. Like, actually, punch the grass. The guy who made the original comment goes to see her response, and he's like, touch grass? I was just messing around. You didn't have to go that far. Gotti! Next. Now she's going to be responding to this comment that says, my point was that objectively, obesity is a disease. It limits your life quality, and in the end, it will kill you sooner than you think. You want me to handle this one? Go touch grass, bro. Okay? Thank you. Took care of that one for you. Part of Team Potty Positivity. Potty Positivity. Potty Positivity.
Let's just assume for a second that you are correct. Okay? You're not.
You're not. You're not. Oh, done. Done. You don't even need to keep going, dude. This guy, done. Okay, so they are wrong. It is not a disease, and it will not end you sooner than you think, apparently. Okay, well, case closed. That's bollocks. So let's move on with our lives.
But let's just assume.
Let's just assume that you're correct. Gravity is real for the purpose of this argument.
What exactly do you want me to do about it here?
I don't know. I'm guessing that they are opposed to you promoting obesity and saying that obesity is not unhealthy.
On my platform. Do you want me to never show my body?
What? We will soon see this person say a bunch of silly stuff like your weight is genetic, there are social determinants of your weight, X, Y, Z. So this person is likely responding to her previous ridiculous comments.
Do you want me to not post videos?
Spreading dangerous medical misinformation? Probably. That's probably what they're opposed to. Based on what they said, I don't think they're opposed to you posting selfies at all. I mean, from what I'm reading here, I don't know what comment you read. To me, this comment doesn't say, hey, stop living your best life, stop posting selfies, it's making me feel insecure. It says, my point was that objectively, obesity is a disease.
Showing me living my life is the only acceptable content for fat people to make weight loss videos, or telling people how unhealthy or healthy they might be.
Well, I don't know what is acceptable content for a fat person to make, but telling people that there are social determinants of health and it's genetic and it's outside of your control is dangerous. Pretty sure this person is just opposed from you trying to discourage other people from losing weight just because you've had your own issues around it. That's basically the entire fat acceptance movement. I've had trouble losing weight. All of these words are helping me cope. So I'm going to tell these words to you. It's not your fault. It's genetic. It's society. It's the doctors. It's because the moon was in Aquarius last week. You know, it's fine to tell yourself these things, but when you go out there and tell others to use these excuses to not better themselves, you're harming other people.
Is that what you want from fat people?
Nah, I think they want you to stop spreading dangerous medical misinformation. Probably.
Do you want us to tell you our health status? Will that make things better for you?
Yeah, tell me your health status. What does that mean? Obese? You're gonna look at me and be like, I'm obese. I'm not trying to be mean, but I didn't need you to tell me your health status.
Do you want us to tell you all of the ways that we are taking care of our health?
No, nobody cares. I think he just wants you to stop spreading dangerous medical misinformation.
Or if we're not, the reasons why? Do you want us to detail all of the ways in which we have tried
Do you want to keep portraying yourself as a victim?
and failed to lose weight?
Well, hold on, let's go back to that one.
Do you want us to detail all of the ways in which we have tried and failed to lose weight?
No, but I can help you. See, that is the golden question right there. Do you want us to detail all the ways that we have tried and failed to lose weight? No, I'm pretty sure I know the types of diets that you have tried. The low fat, the rice cake diet, the yoga booty body, whatever fad diets. I'm sure they were all nonsense. But you should listen to your own words there. Do you want to know all the diets that we have tried and failed?
I guess I just don't understand the point of you telling me this.
You don't understand the point of them telling you this. Well, they were telling you that obesity is a disease and it limits your life quality and it will shorten your life drastically. They're telling you this because you make videos talking about how your weight is outside of your control and it's actually not bad for you. You started this video off saying, let's assume for a second that what you're saying is true. It's not, but let's assume that it is, when they said that obesity was a disease. So obesity is not a disease, doctor? Okay. It doesn't reduce your life quality and shorten your life? Okay. It doesn't cause you to upload angry videos telling other people to punch grass? Alright.
Do you honestly think that fat people don't know the risks of living in a larger body?
What? In a clip that we are about to watch from her, she is going to say there are no health problems that fat people have that thin people don't also have. So keep that in mind when we listen to what she just said.
Do you think that we haven't been told that at every single opportunity? Do you think you're some kind of savior for fat people?
Actually, I do consider myself some sort of a savior for fat people. You could crucify me on the golden arches. If it will mean that none of you will eat fast food again, I will do it. If it is thy will. Sorry. That was probably very offensive. I'm sorry.
Or other people to save them from fatness. Because I hate to tell you, you're not.
What? That reminds me of that line from Zoolander where he's like, you think you're too cool for school, but you're not. I think that was Zoolander.
Fat people have been told things like this all our lives, and yet we're still fat.
Yeah, how about that?
And you would like to think that it's because of laziness. It's because of not doing our due diligence in our lives.
I think it's because of a lack of knowledge about proper diet. And when you eat a proper diet, you will have more energy to exercise. When you're eating a highly processed diet like you currently are, it's not that you're lazy, it's that you're tired all the time from eating garbage. I'm actually not judging you at all. I'm here to help and to bring you the good news that eating healthy is actually delicious. Do you like steak? I like steak. Let's eat some steak.
You would like to think it's because we don't care about our bodies and our health. And instead of thinking, Maybe there's actually something else at play here.
No, you just lack knowledge about diet. That's what's at play here. And you're getting all egotistical and trying to push back against people that are telling you this is unhealthy. I'm like, hey, breathe, breathe, have your heartbeat, have your heartbeat. And you're like, what? Shut up, I don't have to do that. Showed him. I'm joking, but it's kind of true. People are kind of bullheaded. They will literally do the opposite of what you told them to do just because you told them to do it. They're like, what? Who are you? I don't need to do what you said.
You would just rather blame fat people.
Are you still talking about this? Oh my God. I swear to God, bro.
And tell us that we should be promoting our health at all times. We don't owe you that.
Right, you owe it to yourself, homie. That's the message here that you're missing, okay? You're not sticking it to me by hurting yourself. You're sticking it to you. I'll show you. Okay, hurt yourself then.
We don't owe you anything.
I know. Okay. This is so bizarre that you are on a crusade against this imagined foe. I'll show you. I'll eat unhealthy because you told me not to, like. These people often have the maturity of like a 10-year-old.
We don't owe you health.
All right, how many times are you going to say you don't owe us stuff? How many times are you going to hurt yourself to spite the world?
We don't owe you explanations.
And the doctor doesn't owe you insulin or any of the other stuff that you get when you go there.
We get to live our lives the way that we want to. And the way that works best for us and our health.
Yeah, how's it working for you? You said previously that you've tried and failed to lose weight, so is this really what works best for you and your health?
And if you don't like the fact that there is unhealthiness in our world and in our society, there are things that you could do to help that.
I don't like that there's unhealthiness in this world and our society, I guess.
Instead of attacking fat people for things that we already know.
For things that we already know. So when he said objectively obesity is a disease, that is something that you already knew. Okay. We've got time for one more clip from this person, and it might be even more ridiculous than the last two. Next. Alright, she's going to be responding to this comment that reads, okay, common sense has left the building. Good luck with your shot knees by 45.
I love when people expose themselves like this.
You love when people expose themselves? Okay. This video's taking a different sort of turn now. Alright. I'm intrigued. Where's this going?
Because it's not actually about health. It's not. It is about feeling superior to fat people.
They're probably responding to the things that you say about how fat isn't bad for you and there are no diseases that fat people have that thin people don't also have, which she's about to go into.
It's about feeling better than fat people because you're thin, right?
It's about feeling better than fat people. Why did they start their comment off with, okay, common sense has left the building? What were you saying in your video that made them respond with that?
Right? You're not overweight.
Their response doesn't seem like they were just trying to feel superior to you. It sounds like you said something completely ridiculous for them to respond with common sense has left the building. It sounds like you were saying something along the lines of fat people are only at a higher risk because of the bias they experience, or something.
You're thin, right? You're not overweight, so you're never going to experience health problems like fat people will. Are you sure?
Yes.
This person's real upsetty spaghetti in my comments right
Upsetty spaghetti? Oh my goodness, okay. I'm adding that to my dad vocabulary.
now. Because we're having a conversation about how health is more than just one factor. But apparently fat people are totally to blame for every health problem they might experience.
Are you saying they're not to blame for their own health problems? Who is to blame for fat people's health problems then? It's society, isn't it? I thought so. Freaking society, am I right?
As if thin people don't also experience knee pain.
Okay. Well, if you have knee pain when you're thin, try carrying around a 50-pound dumbbell in each hand and see how that helps. This isn't rocket science, my friend.
Or joint pain.
Same with the joints. Any joints. Obviously, more weight is going to hurt your joints more.
Or have their knees replaced. As if thin people don't also experience things like diabetes.
Sure, type 1 diabetes that you're born with. If you're thin and you get type 2 diabetes, you must be eating nothing but sugar, but not enough sugar to put you in a caloric surplus. But either way, it is still your diet, unless you have type 1 diabetes.
Heart disease. Heart attacks. and, anything that they like to blame fat people for.
Nobody's blaming fat people for heart attacks. When fat people have a heart attack, it's a fat person having a heart attack because of their poor lifestyle choices. Nobody's saying the phenomenon of heart attacks is because of fat people.
There are no health problems that fat people experience that thin people also do not experience.
That doesn't matter because everything is exacerbated by being obese. And the obesity itself is a disease. Some sober people crash their cars too, so alcoholics crashing their cars is not a big deal. Drinking and driving shouldn't even be illegal.
Which indicates that there is more to health problems than just solely weight.
That is not what that indicates at all. When you're eating unhealthy and you're obese, you're far more likely to get a heart attack, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, and all these other conditions. Some people get lung cancer and they don't even smoke. So smoking doesn't cause lung cancer. Okay, genius.
But people like to bring up the higher risk thing.
People like to bring up the higher risk. What a bunch of morons. Yes. That's the thing. You have a much higher risk when you engage in unhealthy behaviors. Yeah, sometimes somebody who's healthy dies. So there's no point in being healthy then, I guess. All right.
Which I talked about in the video that's linked.
There was no video linked in the description of this. I don't know what she's talking about.
But more than that, not even the fact that risk doesn't mean guarantee.
I love how condescending you are when you're very wrong, and this is very dumb.
Not even the fact that risk can be mitigated. People don't ever
Risk can be mitigated by losing weight.
like to talk about how maybe the higher risk is for fat people because they experience weight stigma.
But what about the risks that you had before you went into the place? So you went to the doctor because you can't breathe and your knees are blown out and all this stuff. And then once you got there, you experienced weight stigma, and that's what's making you unhealthy. But what about the blown out knees and the fact that you couldn't breathe, which took you to the doctor to begin with? You don't experience weight stigma until you go to his office. But what took you to his office to begin with? My mom stigmatized me first, and that injured me. And then I needed to go to the doctor, and he further stigmatized me and added another 40 pounds to my frame. Dang it.
In the medical field, that doctors have bias against fat people, which is documented in peer-reviewed studies.
Bias against fat people? What does that mean? What does it mean when a doctor has bias against you? They're not going to treat you? They're not going to prescribe you the medication that you need? What does it mean? It means nothing. They're still going to treat you and do their job. Any excuse to make this somebody else's fault, right?
That's for my friend in the comments.
That's for your friend in the comments. Oh, get dunked on, son. Hold on.
That doctors have bias against fat people, which is documented in peer-reviewed studies. That's for my friend in the comments.
It's documented in peer-reviewed studies. That's for my friend in the comments. Get dunked on. Which peer-reviewed study? Shut up, okay? There are studies, and they are peer-reviewed. Just take my word for it. Shut up. I'm right. Get dunked on. For her friend in the comments. The dude in the comments was like, oh, dang it. She got me.
And that perhaps a reason why fat people have a higher risk is because doctors do not listen to fat patients and often misdiagnose them.
You sure it's not the hypertension? You sure it's not all the excess weight weighing down on your frame and putting a strain on your heart and lungs? No. It's all the bias giving me this hypertension and diabetes. I got type 4 diabetes, the kind that comes from bias. It's the worst kind.
So that their health problems persist.
Why do they have health problems to begin with? Huh? Was that the bias? How did they have health problems from bias? That would imply that they were originally thin and bias is what made them fat and unhealthy. Why were they being biased against when they were thin? Why were they going to the doctor for health problems if they only started getting health problems after they were biased against? It doesn't make sense. You went to the doctor because you have health problems due to your obesity. Whatever bias you think you experienced was after the fact. You were already at the doctor because of your numerous health problems due to your obesity. Dude, there's so much bias up in here, I'm sweating like crazy and I can barely get up off this couch.
Or that fat people have experienced weight stigma.
Everybody has experienced some sort of stigma in their life, my friend. You're not the only one who has heard negative things from other human beings on this planet. We all have. And we're not using it as an excuse to go off the rails to this day. How does weight stigma make you fat? Why were they stigmatizing you? Because you were already fat. So what are you talking about? It made me fatter. Or, I was happy and fat and had no health problems until they stigmatized me. Is that how it goes? None of this makes sense because it is real dumb.
And so they take longer to go to the doctors for things.
Okay, why do they need to go to the doctor all the time?
And their problem gets worse because they don't want to experience that. Nobody likes to talk about how that plays a factor.
Okay, so weight stigma is hurting you because it prevents you from going to the doctor. Why do you need to go to the doctor to begin with? Because of your weight?
Any of the other factors I mentioned in the previous video. Things like social determinants of health.
Social determinants of health. That means literally nothing. You are in control of your own health and you are responsible for it. Only you. In fact, that's one of the only things you have control over on this planet.
Things like genetics. But no, fat people are totally 100% responsible for their own health problems.
I agree.
And they should be shamed for it.
No, but for you to say that it's not your own fault is not helping you or anybody else. In fact, that's dangerous medical misinformation.
And thin people get to feel better about themselves because they're thin and they would never experience those things. Except you could.
Yeah, you could have shot knees by 45 too, buddy. Not all people with knee pain are fat, but I guarantee you all fat people have knee pain.
Except you might. You don't have sympathy or empathy for fat people, and that's very clear.
They just said common sense has left the building because you were saying a bunch of ridiculous nonsense like weight stigma is what's hurting fat people, not their own personal choices that they've made and lived with for many years. It wasn't all this highly processed garbage that I've been eating for the past several years and melding into this couch. That's not the problem, it's the stigma.
You like fantasizing about the horrible things that will happen to us because
What?
it makes you feel better about yourselves.
You like to portray yourself as a victim so that you feel better about your own shortcomings.
You don't care about health.
I don't think they claim to care about health. They just said that common sense has left the building, and they were absolutely right. I don't know what video they were responding to, but based on your retort to them, I would agree. I like how when she was talking about doctors being biased against fat people, she's like, in peer-reviewed studies. That's for my little friend in the comments down there. As if that phrase totally shut him and any discourse down. It has been reviewed in peer-reviewed studies. Which ones? Shut up, okay? I said peer-reviewed studies. That's the magic word. I win. All right, man. So is it true? Are there no health problems that fat people experience that thin people don't also experience? Why don't you sound off in the comments below? Did you know I made a video about Steve Asante from my 600-pound life? You should check it out. Here's a link. Happy Monday, everybody. Please click the like button. 1 like equals 1 mustache coming. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.